I feel like I was just not online a minute ago. All right, my bad, y'all. We here. Matter of fact, let me turn this on. Oops, wrong button. There we go. So, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the BTSI Show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Real quick, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on all socials. Links are located in the description. Download the BTSI Show's a cash app. Participate with our rights to privacy. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person will get $100 doing the cash app giveaway, and I may make it two lucky people. Haven't yet decided. We'll figure it out. So, haven't done this in a while, ladies and gentlemen. We are simulcast, of course, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Clubhouse. Yes. You guys, I don't know what's been going on in the past couple of weeks now, but the topics about single motherhood has been on 10. And now some people are going to say, well, this space has always talked about single mothers. Yes, they have. I will openly admit that. But something about this week, I don't know what it is, but everybody has been on 10. Like they have been laying it on the women. Unnecessarily so, I might add. And I'm trying to figure out why. Where is this coming from? I mean, I have an idea, but it doesn't warrant this level of disrespect that I'm hearing. To say that you're a baby mother, no other man wants you, that you should probably go back to your child's father. Um, that's bullshit in of itself because you say nobody wants her, but there's a group of people who are eager to sleep with her and make sure she stays as a baby's mother. So let's go ahead and break down all of this while I got time. I know I'm gonna regret it in the morning when I wake up, but I think this is important to get this off my chest before I forget it. Now, last week we debunked baby mothers and stepfathers. We debunked that talking point. Like if you are still holding on to that talking point, it's only because you a played out sucker and you ain't got nothing else to talk about. Or you have no substance to add to it. So you rather stick with whatever narrative is out there because that's what everybody else is doing. You want to fit in with the crowd, you're scared to stand out, that type of stuff. So let's keep that in mind. The question is, why do let's talk black people because this is what I'm gonna get at. Because we talk about better in the community. Why are there certain individuals, why are there some black males that want to keep black women single, black single mother single? It's real simple. The reason why people are really pushing this type of heat on single mothers, saying don't date a single mother, don't be with a single mother, and that type of stuff. Yes, there might be some credence to that narrative because there's some context to it. We'll get to that momentarily. But this passion that I'm hearing for people to keep single mother singles, it's like, bruh, is she part of your stable? I mean, is she a potential bust down for you? You figure like she got a child, nobody wants her, so I need something on the side. Is that why we're trying to tell single mothers to stay single in one breath, and on another breath we talk about bettering the black community? See, I'm gonna spend a lot of times. I might be slow roasting, but I'm calling out a lot of hypocrites. The reason why some of these dudes want to keep single mothers single is because they need something to fuck on. So they want to plant the seed to single mothers that nobody wants to be with them, nobody wants to marry them. So you might as well go to work, take care of your kids, and pick up your phone when I call. And you know when I call it's for a reason. Honestly, that's pretty much it. That's why a lot of people talk down on single mothers is because those single mothers are one of their options to play with. And nothing upsets a man more when one of their options be taken away from them. Like, hold on, that's my candy cane. What you doing with her? She got wiped out, and she's taking care of the child. See, that's the tough situation that people don't want to acknowledge. Like, for example, when we was on B Taylor's channel last week, and Courtney unfortunately revealed that comment that her fiance made. And I say unfortunate because that was a Courtney thing to say. That's something you keep in house. But they don't like that. They don't like the fact that one, Courtney was a single mother. Now she's about to get married. They don't like that because they need, because they see Courtney. Courtney's a very beautiful woman. And I will say this: what you see on YouTube with Courtney is what you get, and you might get a cup something a little bit. How can I say this without being disrespectful? Let's just say God blessed her with a lot more than she likes to lead on. I will leave it at that, and I mean that in a good way. So when you see that, when you see Courtney in person, a lot of fellas, the mind starts wondering, ideas, imagination starts to bubble. So it will behoove them that a Courtney Michelle would stay single. So that way, for the opportunity to slide right in and do what they got to do, put her on the roster, that type of stuff. Now they can't do that anymore because she's about to get married. And salute to her. Congratulations. There was a lot of men who was probably, depending on how close they were, there was a lot of men who was probably upset that she's off the market. You know why? Because you took away one of their options, one of their potentials out the way. I'm not gonna say options because she would have to agree to that, and I highly doubt that's something she wants to be a part of. Like, or she is, that's a grown woman. She can do whatever she wants. But guess what? As of right now, she's taken for. A single mother is now in the process of becoming a wife. And hold on, somebody just popped in the building. Oh, what's up? Ladies and gentlemen, Nave, how you been?
Good, good, good.
Good. Hands up. We are simulcast right now. Although you're on the Clubhouse side, I'm also on the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter side. So don't worry, they can't see your face or nothing like that.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
All right. So pretty much what I was saying, y'all, is the reason why they're upset when single mothers are in the process to become wives is because to the streets, you took away one of their options, one of their potentials. So that's why a lot of people want to hate on single mothers. And me, I'm here to say, and also they hate that notion. They also hate the fact that I said last week when it comes to single mothers, this is not a death wish that you have a child. All this means is you're gonna have to work a little harder than the women with who don't have a child. There's about 39% of black women who are childless. So that means amidst the first four options for men are going to be women without a child, and the rest of the 61% they got filling that fifth to tenth spot. And women with children already understand that, and they know that they have to work hard. They have to do a little extra. They have to prove to the suitor, to the man, that I bring value to you, and my child's not going to be a liability. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't have no numbers to show this to prove this, but there are single mothers out here getting married. So while you guys are trying to talk down on single mothers, they're actually getting the results that they're looking for. They realize the decisions they made previously. They are learning from their mistakes. They had to level up in their own way to get this guy's attention. And once God finally gives them a blessing again, they're not going to drop it. So the question is, am I siding with single mothers? The answer is yes, because you don't have to be a single mother forever. If you play the cards right, do what you have to do, you can get the man that you was looking for. So I don't talk down on single mothers. Now there is a subgroup of single mothers who think they're entitled to the best, and they have it hasn't hit them that no, you're not. You went from the top four, now you went to the bottom 10, the bottom six, excuse me, five to six, sorry. Yeah, those type of women you want to stay away from because they have a lot of growing to do. They have a lot of maturity to accomplish. And what they're showing is not only is the child going to be the asset, the child's going to be a liability, but they're going to be a liability themselves. There's you got to identify those type of women because Lord knows, trust me, the men do. We identify those type of women, we put them to the side. Don't care what you do, but just do it over there. Don't do it in front of me. You're not going to make my top 10 list when it comes to dating or courting, whatever the case may be. The women that we're looking at are women who fit in my lifestyle, my program, and they will be taken care of for the rest of their life, them and their child. This is why I side with single mothers because I don't want them to be single mothers forever. And I'm fully aware a lot of people in this YouTube space and a lot of people in Clubhouse don't like what I just said. I'm fully aware of that. But also, these same people know that I do not care if they don't like it or not because at the end of the day, it's not about me and it's not about them. You talk about bettering the black community. How can we do that if we're constantly keeping a group of women down for our own benefits and not for the benefits of the community? See, people talk a good game. I actually, I actually can talk better, show better results, and point you in the right direction better than most people. So now you got to start asking these people, are you really about this community or is this just a talking point? Are you really about this community or are you trying to get your followers up? What you talking for? What value are you adding to people? Because me, you guys know, I talk about tribalism. First, it starts off as your own. Then you go find a wife. You go find a family. You go find like-minded people. There goes your tribe right there, because that tribe will eventually grow into a community. So you don't hear people on YouTube talk about this. You don't hear people on Clubhouse talking like this. I and maybe a couple other people do. People say they want better for the community. I actually do, and by doing that, I am an example of what a man should be, and I'm also an example of what my son to be, and I'm also an example of what children need to strive to be. Can the people you listen to say that? I don't think so. So, Nave, how you doing? Don't tell me I put this woman to sleep. Nave, you there? Nave, is all good. She's asleep. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I side with single mothers. And also another thing you guys gotta keep in mind. Wasn't some of y'all raised by single mothers? Did you forget that?
I'm sorry, did you call my name?
It is all good. Now I'll say, what's your take on me siding with single mothers only for them to actually transition from being a single mother to being a wife? What's your take on that?
It's appreciative. Um, like what you said when um, these women just have to work harder than single women without children. I have two sisters who are phenomenal doing the thing. Their daughters are playing volleyball, they're playing flag football, they're going to work as registered nurses, they're juggling the schedule, still making time for themselves and living life. So it's like you do this and only to have someone come and or someone sitting in the bleachers spectating You run this obstacle course. The best way you could and throw eggs at you and tomatoes. And it's like, why not just live your life, sir, and let this woman do her thing? So um, it's appreciative to recognize when someone is properly navigating their obstacle course or their life course. So I'm all for them.
Right. And what's your take on these? Well, I don't know how often are you on YouTube? Like just watching the YouTube streets.
Not often as I used to be. I was one of those people who like watched Steve Coakley and Albert Hagen to get into like some like conspiracy stuff, or I want to say Dr. Africa and kind of like interviews from the 1950s, Maya Angelou. So I'm starting to get back into that because Clubhouse has become a little too toxic for me in a way, or kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. The side of YouTube that I'm on, um, obviously I let people decide what side of the YouTube that I belong on. Although I talk about a bunch of topics, but just like Clubhouse on YouTube, there's people who talk down on single mothers, saying that you shouldn't marry them or they shouldn't get married. Um, some other goofy stuff. Like when we hear it here, it's like it got to a point where it's like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I gave you guys cl- YouTube 15 months, Clubhouse next month will be 2 years that I've been on. It's like you guys are still talking about single mothers. It's like you guys are really talking about these women who made a mistake. Granted, it was a bad decision. We can all agree on that. But you still trying to hold these women down while you're contributing to the problem of single motherhood.
Exactly, and they go back to your grandmother's sister, your grandmother's dad. There's the Salvation Army had what's called Booth's Memorial. This was a place where unwed teens and mothers took their children and gave them up for adoption. You have a lot of people out here who have amended birth certificates because of that stigma and shame, clear on up until 1979. So this has been going on for a very long time. Single mothers is not new. It's just that these women are, like you said, owning, if they want to consider a mistake, owning this and taking care of those babies. I'm not leaving this child behind. Going back to one of the greats, Mary McCloy Bethune, she raised her son all by herself. Husband disappeared. She was a single mother. Maya Angelou, we all respect her. Was she not a single mother? So where does this necessary need to make them wear a scarlet letter come from?
Yeah, and the thing is, like for example, teen pregnancy is down. And as much as I hated to admit it, I have to credit that to like those Teen Mom TV shows. They used to come on MTV. I hated those shows because I thought they was exploiting those people. But the fact that teen pregnancy went down during that time, I have to give them some type of credit because a lot of people are not having children as like they once want. Now, granted, having your first child in your mid 30s is kind of wild and could be can physically break you down later on in age. But the fact of um, these women having children, these women having children later, or just not having them at all, is an accomplishment in of itself. And the ones that do have a child, instead of tearing them down, which, like I said, you need to be chastised for your decisions that you're making, but at the same time, we need to get to the solution part because it's not too late for them. It's not a death sentence for them, like they'll never get married. That's not true because we're seeing single mothers getting married now. Like one woman who is having in this space of YouTube, we just found out last week that she's engaged, and she was a single mother. So it's like, what are we gonna do? What do you think we should do with these bad faith actors? Meaning they talk about bettering the community, but truth be told, they're doing the complete opposite. And I think my what's called just all right, it's all good. Let me while she takes care of that, let me go ahead and continue. Yeah, what I'm saying, people, I know it's not popular. And quite frankly, like I said, I really don't care because we talk about this community stuff whenever we're actually going to be about it. And by doing that, we need to have people qualified to speak on these topics. Usually, I really don't care who the messenger is, as long as you get the message. But there has been a few messengers who's been fucking it up, and it's like, you know what, just get behind me. Let me take care of this because we actually want these women to actually find a leader that they can be with, and that leader can take that child and raise him as his own, knowing that the mother's gonna have to step aside and let that man do him and do what he got to do for the sake of the family.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm back. I'm currently at work, but I'm definitely listening to you.
Oh, that's okay. You doing the overnight shift?
Yes.
Bless your heart. So, what else did I wanted to get at with the am I posting about it? Okay, yeah, that's what I want to say. When it comes to single motherhood, no, when it comes to the dating market with the single mothers, like I said last week, the women got to work a little bit harder than women with no children. Now, regarding the men, here's the thing: they have to find this woman as an asset, just like they'll find a woman without a child as an asset. And if this woman proves that, now the question is him being a stepfather. Yeah, he realized the cowboy. What's up, man? Cowboy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, bro?
Man, it's been a minute. How you been?
Shit, working, man, working.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Same here. Um, DC. Now, for those who are watching on, well, those who are watching on YouTube, you guys should already know who Cowboy is, because excuse me, y'all heard him speak a couple of times in the past. Now, Cowboy, here's the thing. The question is, am I? For the past couple of weeks, I just noticed that everybody has been going a little bit harder on single mothers than usual, to the point where I'm starting to look like, what's going on here? And the people that are doing it are ones that are trying to push the community forward, but at the same time, they're also contributing to single motherhood. So the question is, do am I siding with single mothers? I am, because these single mothers who go through the process of acknowledging what they did was wrong and leveling up to a point to where they can actually get back in the dating market to actually be a wife, where they can be an asset to a marriage and the child's not going to be a liability. That's what we're trying to push the women to, but it seems like people are stuck on some old talking points that has no merit. What's your take on that?
I mean, my mind hasn't changed. It depends on who you're dealing with. If a man doesn't have any children, he's young. When I say young, I mean, up to like his mid-30s, no kids, then I don't see why he would be dealing with a single mother. You know, that doesn't make any sense, Not unless that's what he wants to do. I don't think that, black men should be pressured into dating or marrying single mothers. I think that's going on for decades, and I think that, at this point in time, we really need to start making decisions as to what we want in life. Or if we don't want single mothers, then, there shouldn't be a problem with, not dealing with them. Now, if you're talking about some weird Pookies and Ray Rays that run around social media talking trash, but got 5 baby mamas out there, yeah, those dudes are clowns, you know. But I'm thinking about the sensible people, the sensible men out there who, you know, they're trying to do the right thing. And I didn't realize until well into my adulthood after the fact that, you know, we're kind of raised by the community to take on these women, you know, who have children already. We're typically not raised to, you know, avoid them. You see what I mean? And a lot of men come from, you know, they come from single moms. So then they think it's all good. And it's really not, you know? There's a lot of complicated issues with dealing with a child that's not yours. It just says, even if you have children yourself as a man, you know, if that child's living with you, you know, you've got some things to think about, you know, as far as bringing another child around your child. You see what I mean? So people act like it's, you know, love's going to conquer all, whatever kind of nonsense. But, you know, there's a lot of logistics that people are not thinking about, including that other father, which is typically still alive, which is typically involved with the child, especially a black man. You know, there's a lot of things that need to be hammered out. So, you know, for young black men who are, you know, grinding and building their empire, yeah, you know, get a woman that doesn't have children so you guys can kind of figure each other out and live your life before injecting children into the situation.
Now, with that being said, let me play devil's advocate. There's only 39% of, let's keep it in the black community. There's only 39% of black women that are single and childless compared to the 54% who are single and childless. So, yeah, out of your 10 options,
you said there's only 39% of black women that are single and childless?
Yes, 39% that are single and childless compared to the 61% that has at least one child. Now, that means for the men, your first four options, we understand, is going to be women with, just based off a law of averages. Your first four options is going to be a woman with no children. But the remaining six, expect them to have at least one. And we also understand, because I said this last week, the more children that this woman have, especially with different fathers, the harder it is going to be for her in the dating market. So we also understand that as well.
But of that 39% that are single and childless, that figure that you just gave, what percentage of that come from women who can't have children due to medical issues?
Yeah, we're not doing that. I mean, everybody wants to play the game, but here's the thing. You know, it's something that I didn't notice. I never looked up any stats on it, but I noticed that when looking for, you know,
I'll post it in the chat.
In the black community, I noticed that it was more often that even very young black women, they would have at least one child. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As opposed to other ethnicities. And it was like, God damn, everybody, you know, 24 years old, you still got a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and that was another thing. These children would be young. You know, anywhere from a few months old, you know, to 4 years old. And they're on the dating market. And I'm like, well, what happened to the father? Did he get blown up in the war or something? Like, what's going on? You see what I mean? And that's not a good look either. You got a 6-month-old child, you know, and you're trying to date. It's like, why did you give birth to this child? You know, the child's only 6 months. Where's the father? What's going on? You know what I mean? So, you know, that's the problem. It really is. And everyone wants to act like it's not and act like black women getting beat up, or, you know, about this stuff. But, you know, we have to be realistic, you know, as to what's out in the dating market and why is it like that.
Mm-hmm. And I put the...
who made them baby mamas, though? You got to understand, who made them baby mamas?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, too.
Yeah, and
baby mamas, bro. Somebody had to put something in them to make them a baby.
Yeah, but most black men didn't put something in them. That's the problem. The majority of black men are not putting something in them. So those of us who didn't do it, we shouldn't have to deal with the nonsense that somebody else did.
And
You
that's
got two people. You got two people made a bad decision, and all of a sudden this black man comes along with no kids and nothing like that. He's minding his own business. He's grinding, and now he's supposed to take on this responsibility.
No, facts. That's true. But you that's an option, bro. You don't have to. Somebody tells you to have a kid, it's your option, bro. You are not obligated to take care of anybody's. It's not an obligation. You choose that shit, man. If you want.
right. And that's why I said, and for the record, the stats are in the chat from CDC. If you want to start looking at the numbers, you could just jump to page 12, read page 1 to 11, and there's a disclaimer at the page 22. But, and that's what I said earlier. Your first four options are going to be women. Your first four options are going to be women without children. We understand that, just based off a law of averages. That's going to be.
Yeah, we don't exist without the black women, bro.
What's
we
up?
need black women, man.
No. We understand that. That's what. And this, we're keeping this within the community because this is the most. This when it comes to this narrative, this talking point, I'm hearing it from the black community versus other places. Now, with that being stated, your first for men, we understand the first four options are going to be a woman without children. We understand that. If we're talking about keeping it in the black community, when the remaining six is going to be a woman with at least one child. So we understand that. And the women also understand that they got to work harder than that first four, the first four, especially if they have more children. The more children they have, the harder it's going to be, especially if they have multiple fathers. That's going to make it even worse, to the point where they might have to wait until them children are out the house. So we understand that.
Man, how do you know that?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, what study shows you that? Because my thing is this: we all can get what we want. That's whether or not we want it. It really is, bro. But if she wants that, she got 4 kids, 5 kids, 3 different baby daddies. That happens, man. And it really does. We can't contradict that, and nor do I want to get in the way of that shit. That's what she wants, bro. That's what she gonna get. I'm all happy for you. I'm not here to tell you that ain't gonna happen. That's the problem with some of us. We're here to tell them, nah, fuck that. You got 3, 4 baby daddies. You got this. You ain't never gonna be happy. You're never gonna find it. Bro, who are we to tell women that shit, bro?
Exactly. We are on this. We are. No, hey, Jan, trust me. We on the same page.
Poor backgrounds, bro. Now we too good for that shit. I don't know, bro.
Who beeping that is? No, Jan, that's where we're on. That's you and I are on the same page. Because the narrative is that you have a child. That's it. Nobody wants you. I'm here to say that's cap.
In that case, that means I'm washed up because I have a daughter and I love her. I'll put her above anyone.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that who am I to look at a woman that has kids and say, you know what, you're not worthy of anything because you got children from a man who, didn't love you or y'all didn't work out or whatever the fuck happened. I don't know that shit. I don't know. Or maybe you fast or whatever, but I have no fucking clue. I'm not here to prejudge though.
Mm-hmm.
That's something.
No, I get that. And
that makes
perfect sense.
But see that that's a slippery slope. Because now when a man is like, yeah, I don't deal with women with children, now he's judging. Women have been saying that. I'm not dealing with a man who's got kids.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? And so nobody says a goddamn thing about any kind of quote unquote preferences that a woman has. But as soon as a man says, yeah, I'm not dealing with a woman with children, now he's a monster. Like he's supposed to do that shit. And that's my only issue. It's like if a man says he's not dealing with a woman with children or fat chicks or tall chicks or, chicks that are super short or whatever it is, people need to back off of that dude, and stop coming at him like, there's a lot of shame that comes to dudes to the point where a lot of dudes will hush up. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of these dudes, man. I say whatever it is, man. I used to have to tell chicks, You too big. You can't get on my motorcycle. You know, they would try to shame me. You ain't gonna shame me. I'm cowboy. What you mean? You think I'm not gonna take you too heavy? You know, I'm 6'1". You know, at the time I was 240. I'm like, you 200 something pounds. I said, you're gonna snap the chain on the motorcycle. I said, there are weight limits. I'll just tell them straight out. My boys will be, you know, because they get the mumbling and stuff, man. My boys will get the mumbling and that would frustrate the hell out of me. I'm like, tell these chicks the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so, everybody, look, go ahead, Nate.
I think we should take a page from Emmett Till's mother. What was his father? Did black men do that to her? You're worthless. Did they do it to Lacey Hughes' mother? Because you know he was raised by a single mother, right? Did people pass up that Harlem Renaissance pioneer? Because that was a great man who only wanted his father's attention. This is why he went to school to become an engineer. Just for his dad, who was never there. Do we tell his mother? Do we tell Louis Farrakhan's mother that the same thing? Did they pass up Louis? That's what I want to understand. I want to know.
Hold on, y'all. Go ahead, man.
I just want to know if that was said to Louis Farrakhan's mother, who raised him, a great man today. Did men pass her by and say, "Oh, you're worthless because you have a son"? Didn't know what that boy was going to become. And could you imagine being that man that gave him that when he needed it the most?
That's facts.
So, where did you guys get it today? You 80s and 90s born men.
Well, I wasn't born in the 80s or 90s.
Well, I was.
Hold on, y'all. So, so you're talking about men that weren't born in the 80s and 90s. They were born before all of us. You know, some of them died before we were born, right? But, so here's the thing. Yes, there were always men that were going to, pass by a woman that had a child. Those men always existed. You know what I'm saying? It seems to me that black men, especially, have always taken on women with children. You know, there's been a lot of, theories behind or hypothesis behind why that is. But we've always done so. But we don't get the same respect today in these households. It's not like it was back in the old days. A man used to come into that house, and he was the man of that house. It didn't matter where those kids came from, he ran that household, And today, that's just not the case.
But
kid jumping up and down your couch. Hey, man, you got to sit down. Hey, told you to sit your ass down. Don't talk to my son like that. But you watching him jump on my couch with me, but you're not saying anything.
Oh, but hold on, Cowboy.
That's what he said.
Wait, y'all, 1 second.
Hold on, y'all. What'd you say, Christopher?
But Cowboy, that's what I brought up earlier. The type of woman that you're referring to are entitled women. Like, no one's entitled to be with you, especially since you had quote unquote luggage coming into the relationship. So I would tell those men, leave that woman alone. She needs to bump her head several times, and she needs to stay in the dating market. While there's other women who, like I said, your top 4 don't have no children. The remaining 6 are women who understand that they are a single mother. They made a decision. They had to improve their lifestyles, improve from their mistakes to let this man know, I am just as good or better than your first 4 options. And once she proves that to him, he has to realize, he has to deal with the fact that, do I want to be a stepfather? And if I am going to be a stepfather, this is my child. Whatever I say is with him or her goes. And if you decide to go against that, you and your child can get on. And she understands that. She said, my child is now your child. Whatever you want to do with him, I will back you up 100%.
Now, Christopher, here's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The father's still alive. Now you're going to rule over this child, but you ain't spoke to the father. You just spoke to the mother. Now you got a problem because your form of discipline don't match up with what he thinks is correct for his child. And I heard a lot of people on these apps, a lot of dudes talk about he ain't gonna do nothing, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't know what makes you think because it's your house that you are now invincible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This dude can show up You know what I'm saying? He could show up with his doggone brothers, you know, and then mash you out on your lawn over his child.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, you know, the logistics, you know, have to be taken care of. You know, a lot of people are not thinking.
Right.
You know, and you know, and what we here's something we gotta stop doing too. We gotta stop looking at the successful men that came from single mothers, you know, that had stepfathers. You know, one that pops in my head is Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Shaquille O'Neal is a man whose father, you know, he didn't give him a good reason as to why he wasn't around. But he's like, I'm not sweating it because my stepfather, you know, that's the man who raised me is my father, right?
Right.
Okay, that's great. But most of the time, that success story is not there. That's you know, the exception is not the norm. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know why we always want to run to the exception, you know, to the rule. It's like most of the time, man, that stuff is complicated. It's not the Brady Bunch. And even with the Brady Bunch, if you remember the very first episode, there were complications. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, well, a lot of y'all are young, so y'all didn't grow up watching Brady Bunch. But I think that, again, you know, people have their choices, and I don't even advise young men to be, because a lot of young men don't mess when they're with single mothers, their intentions are not good. They're only trying to get sex. And I'm going to say a lot of single mothers out there just trying to get sex too. They're not even thinking about a relationship, you know? So I mean, you're saying that, but they will walk you right past their kid's bedroom. You see what I'm saying? If you let them. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what's really going on? So, I mean, so I'll shove them to the side and let's focus on the women who are actually serious about, you know, maybe they're married before, they want to get married, whatever the heck it is. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have their work cut out for them. They're going to have to make sure that their relationship with the kids, the child's father, is good, you know, and they're going to have to make sure that they're very open with whoever they meet about the situation they're in, you know, because you don't want to change it from 2 adults fighting to 3 adults fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can get complicated.
Right. And I agree. So the question is, what is the rebuttal for that? Number one, you're in charge of your household. There will be no compromise, even if that means minus the child. So you got to tell that father, wow, this is my house and this is how I conduct my rules. If this is too harsh, you are more than welcome to get full custody of the child. I will tell your ex-wife or whatever she is to you to relinquish custody to you. Now we'll work on the weekends and that type of stuff. But in my house, this is my rules. I compromise for nobody. So you just got to find a solution to the problem. Because I hit them on this app too. They say, "Man, I will be."
But see the solution. See, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't work like that. So at the end of the day, that's not your child. You know what I'm saying?
Then that's not the relationship you should be in.
And everybody needs to be on the same page when raising that child. So let's say they already have an agreement on how to raise the child. You as a man are going to have to adjust for that child. You see what I'm saying? To keep that child on the same page, so it's not a shock to that child's environment. Mind you, I don't know if you remember Christopher, but I really don't care about adults. I don't care about how you feel and none of that stuff when it comes to children, because children are the future.
Right.
Adults are very selfish. They act like they matter. You know, it's like, nah, children are the future.
Right.
So you gotta make so they already have a program for the child. For you to come into that relationship and say, I don't care what your mom and daddy doing, this is what we doing today. You say, hey, hey, you know, you know, and there's a lot of dudes who want to do that. That ain't correct. You know.
But is that relationship for him though? Should that be the relationship? But if that's a compromise, if that's a situation he has to deal with, I say that's not a relationship worth investing in.
I wouldn't say that. See, that's what I'm saying. And so now I'm going to say that Well, this is what I will say. I'm not going to say the relationship's not worth investing in. I'm going to say that man should not be dealing with women who already have children. That's one of the reasons why I say that men who don't have kids, don't be getting involved with no women who got kids, man.
Because I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, like throw me a hypothetical out, like a detailed hypothetical, like exactly what is going to stop him from being the man of the house and everything, everybody abiding by his rules.
Here's one very clear thing. There's some people who don't believe in beating kids. I'm one of those people. You know, so you know, if you run into my ex and you hit it off or whatever, but you think you're gonna beat my kid, that's not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now you got a problem.
But in that situation,
and she should have told you. It was on this app. Somebody was telling us about some dude who he was in jail, and the doggone dude put his hands on the kid, and when he got out of jail, he got some of his boys, and they grabbed a pistol, you know, and at gunpoint, this dude started beating the dude with a belt because he put his hands on that man's children. That woman should have told him, we don't beat children around here.
Yeah, that's like that's lack of communication. That's the woman's fault, because had that conversation been brought up, he could have nipped that in the butt. But like, this is what I believe in. If you believe in that one, if you believe in that, then I understand we have to go our separate ways.
But Christopher, most men's attitude is, well, I'm going to do what I want. I'm the man of this house, this, that, and the third. Yeah, well, you know, you got a lunatic that's getting out of jail in 2 years.
But
he's got 2 years to be angry with you. Nah, we don't want to do that.
But no, I feel you on that, Cowboy. But at the same time, I would tell the man, look, that's not the situation. I would tell brothers, like, no, do not get yourself involved in that particular situation, because at the end of the day, if you compromise one thing in your house, you got to compromise everything, because they're going to look for something to get away with, and you have to stand firm. Now, in the case of that situation, had I been in that scenario, I would say we got to go our separate ways, because whatever I says go, or I'm not compromising nothing. So if you don't believe in physical discipline, that's perfectly fine. Have a nice day, because although that's not the first thing I'm gonna go to in my house, but that is an option nonetheless that will be exercised if need be. And if you can't get with that, that's perfectly fine. I'm not the man for you. So I always tell brothers to avoid situations like that where you feel like something has to be compromised, and we don't compromise standards at all. Preferences, yes. Well, standards, no.
Well, beating kids is not a standard.
It's a discipline. You know what I mean? Like disciplinary action. Like for me, go ahead.
I mean, realistically, man, I'm just like, you know, again, like, you know, I think guys, especially guys who don't have children or whatever, it's like just stay away from these women. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have kids, man, just stay away. And if you have an attitude where you can't be flexible with how someone's already raising their children, you know, with the direction that they want their children to go, children that you didn't help create, yeah, that's not for you either. You know, and a lot of these women, you know, you'll say like, "This is how I do things," and they'll just agree with you. They really care. A lot of women are very selfish, you know, to the point where I think that's a natural, you know.
Well, you can't be selfish and be in a relationship at the same time.
I feel like women are naturally selfish. People think they're these nurturers and giving, and they naturally do that. And I don't think so, because I see too many selfish decisions that they make. You know, I mean, there are children who have died, you know, at the hands of the boyfriend, with the father fighting for custody. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, they're not, you know, if you say, hey, why don't you just give the child, you know, let his father keep him on this, that, and the third, he'd probably be better off. You know, these women, the vast majority of them are not going to do that. And if you ask them why, you're like, can your father, is he not worthy? Can he not raise the child? They said, none of that stuff exists.
Then,
he wants to, he's capable, but they ain't going to let him, you know what I'm saying? You're like, what are you doing?
Then those women
going to live with us.
And
so,
but on some real shit, they're disqualified. On some real shit, they're disqualified.
We're getting to Christopher. Here's the problem. That's most of these women out here. Most of them are disqualified because they're not going to do that. Most of them are only thinking about themselves. And like I said, they'll walk you past the bedroom, you know, they don't care if the kid might wake up and hear, you know, you guys getting down, you know. They be thinking about their own pleasures over their children. You know, I've got, you know, I'm older, so I got, you know, friends whose children live with them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and they would be out, hunting these women down and stuff. But these women would not meet their children. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I notice that men don't have a problem keeping their children away from the women that they meet. You know what I'm saying? We don't feel like it's in our child's best interest, you know? But women, on the other hand, they'll start talking about how they deserve love and they deserve this and they deserve that. Any excuse would do. You know, I remember telling women, yeah, I don't want to meet your kids and stuff because you shouldn't be just bringing a bunch of guys around anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's not your child's going to see a bunch of dudes coming in and out. That's not cool. You know, let's kind of, you know, take it slow with that stuff, man. And then I get over the house and the kids are there. You know what I'm saying? She would just ignore everything I said. You know, and this is stuff that, you know, that my parents taught me. And the elders said, you don't bring a bunch of people around your kids.
Right, of course.
You know? And then take off into some other room or something, leave me in the living room with all these kids. Like, yo, what you doing? You don't know me. You just met me. Yo, I'm trying to tell you, man. You know, so I'm just like, it's crazy out here, man. And then people like, I think most of these women who are single mothers, man, I think they are a certain type of woman. And I'm saying most. I'm not talking about the ones, you know, who had to go through a divorce because the dude tried to kill him. Yeah, I ran into a woman where that happened. You know,
abuse, adultery, abandonment. We get it.
Dude actually slit her throat and everything. You know what I'm saying? And she survived that. Like, you know, there's some horrendous stuff out there that's happening. But most of the separations are not that. You know, most of them are some frivolous stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these births are not even, you know, from a marriage or a relationship. It's just two people having fun with each other. You know, for some reason, nobody wants to use condoms or nothing. So, I mean, you know, like I said, you know, 6 months old and 4-year-olds, you know, on Tinder, you know what I'm saying? These mothers, like, what am I supposed to think about, you know, single mothers? I can't be big up enough, man. We can't big up them no more. We can't keep big upping them, you know, when they're doing the wrong thing, when they're making bad decisions. We can't reward them when they make bad decisions.
Of course not.
Shouldn't be this great man that they should have waited to meet in the first goddamn place.
Well, no, of course. You know? But here's the thing, Carl. I'm not saying as soon as you have that baby, get right back into the market. You need some time alone to realize, look where you're at right now. Look how we got here. And look where we want to go, but how difficult that road is going to be because of the decisions you made in your past. Now, I always tell women, it is not a death sentence. Like, your dreams of being married is not completely over. It's just that you're going to have to work harder than the women. You're going to have to work harder than those 39% of women. And you have to prove to this man that you're not only you're an asset to the relationship, but that your child's not going to be a liability. That's what you have to prove to get the results that you're looking for. Because I don't want women, these single mothers, to be single forever. Because, like I said, I use Courtney Michelle as an example. I don't know if you heard, but Courtney Michelle, she's engaged now. She had to work a little harder. Courtney Michelle from Lapeef on YouTube.
Man, I don't know.
We love Courtney here on the BTSI show. I'm letting y'all know that right now. We ain't no Courtney slander.
Listen, man, I've been watching lead attorneys on 8-hour streams, man. I ain't got time for nobody else.
Man, the league going in right now. I don't blame him. I do not blame him.
Lead dog gonna be long stroking, man. like these are long streams.
Nah, you try to cancel my platform. Oh no, I'm gonna get my victory. I'm gonna get my petty shit in. I don't blame him. Do
Everybody
not.
getting victory laps.
I do not blame him. But what I was saying is right with the single mothers, like the type of single mothers you're talking about. Yes, we know they exist, and those are the type of women I tell brothers stay away from them because they are not ready. Reality has not hit them yet. They think they deserve to be number one without proving anything. And I would tell them, women without children don't have that luxury. What makes you think a woman with a child, at least one child, maybe two, maybe three, what makes you think they deserve to do that? They're gonna have to realize what situation I put myself in, I put my children in, and how this is gonna affect me in the future. Because when it comes to, because I'm talking about single men, and granted, we all know that there's some single fathers out here, and they can also get married in the market, whatever the case may be. The women need to understand that you made a selfish decision before. You can't make no selfish decision moving forward, especially in a relationship, because you have to realize it's not about you anymore. And once you come to that realization and start putting the work in, you're actually going to get the results that you're looking for, especially if we're really talking about bettering the community. Like I said, on the past couple of weeks, I have been going in on people that have been going in on single mothers. And as you mentioned earlier, these are the guys who contribute to single motherhood. Like you can't talk about single mother if you're making them a single mother. And I've been hearing that for the past week and a half. I don't know what's been going on between here and YouTube, but that noise got a little bit louder. So I'm trying to be the loudest in the room because I genuinely believe that single mothers don't have to be single mothers for the rest of their life. If they play the cards right and do things the right way, they can ultimately get a ring on their finger and take care of the husband. Husband's going to take care of her. Husband's going to take care of the child. Now, granted, that man's going to have to come to a realization that he's going to be a stepfather and he has to prepare himself for it. And how he wants this house run, he has to dictate that in the beginning. And he cannot waver on any position moving forward. So that's my whole taking on this. I understand what you're saying about those subgroup of baby mothers who are hard headed. I'm talking about those who have put the work in and they are doing what they have to do to make sure that they become a wife one day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a lot of them. Not in America. There's too much entitlement, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a major issue. And again, God forbid that black men have woken up to say, oh, I don't have to, I heard on the grapevine that I don't have to deal with single mothers. I didn't know that, and really, it's like black men didn't know that. It doesn't matter if you was raised by a single mother. They thought you came from a single mother. Yeah, it doesn't mean I got to date one.
Mm-hmm.
And Tupac's mother was a crackhead. Does that mean he should have only dated crackheads? You know what I'm saying? Like he shouldn't turn a crackhead away. You know what I'm saying? Your mama smoked crack. It's like, so we have to make it make sense, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to break the cycle somehow.
No, I agree. No, I 100% agree.
And that's stepdad's position, man. There's some dudes, man, who really love kids, man. I got a homie, he really loved kids. And I was like, man, you might just open up a daycare, man. He would babysit the neighbor's kid and stuff like that. Like, we went to high school with her. And, he'd be like, you got things to do. I'll watch your kid, this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying? And, like, they were, dating for a while, whatever. But he's real good with church. Some people just, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not the norm, A lot of people are just kind of like, This is somebody else's child. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are not tolerant of other children that are not theirs. You know, so it's not just her making these children somehow an asset, but she has to be extremely picky, and that's even what men. You know,
Well, that's on both sides, though.
All of a sudden, the dating pool gets super narrow when you have a child that's living with you.
Of course.
You know, even if they're not living with you, if your child is if you know your child's gonna be around this person, it's like, so the dating pool gets even smaller, because even though people may be cool or whatever, they may be good people, it's like, this person picks their nose a lot. I don't want that around my kid. I'm just throwing out something ridiculous, but like, you understand what I'm trying to say. Like, you're becoming a real parent becomes very picky, about whether they're dating them or not, even if they're just friends. It's like, who am I going to have around my children?
Right.
This person cusses too much. You're never coming over my house with my kids there. You see what I'm saying? So, it gets very difficult, and it seems like most women, they like to be with somebody so bad, that they have to overlap their relationships and stuff, man. That a lot of women, they overlap their relationships like jobs, Like, you don't just quit a job. You make sure you got another one lined up. That's how a lot of women treat relationships. There's no gaps. They got to be with somebody. And they're not focusing on their children, unfortunately. So that, I don't know. But again, when I got here, you was talking about these dudes who are creating the problem.
Right.
Or who have created the problem. These dudes, these born again Pookie Ray Rays, I used to be this way, and now I've seen the light. Yo, I hate those dudes the most. I don't like it. It's like, because and then they'll project and act like most black men are like they were, and it's like, no, dude, that was you and your boys. It's like most of us ain't like that. We all know somebody who was like that, but there's always that one guy who's just running through women, But then they'll start preaching us like, y'all got to do this, y'all got to do that, and you single mothers, you this, that, and the third. And it's like, yo, man, shut up. One dude was on this app talking that trash, and somebody doxed him and found out he's got a permanent restraining order from his child's mother.
Ouch.
Picture that. Meanwhile, he's simping on the app, surrounding himself by women on this app, talking trash about black men, like he was going to be the new Derek Jackson. And that's another thing. A lot of these born again Pookie and Ray Rays, man, they're like addicts, man. You never truly cured. You know what I'm saying? So, and I tell some of these women, these dudes they're not it. And these women will flock around these dudes.
Well, I'm all for second chances and that type of stuff. Now, the when it comes to the single mother topic, my problem is like, bro, you just contributed to single motherhood not even a full year ago, and you are here talking down on single mothers. And I said this earlier. Why are people trying? And we'll out in the room. I'll cut down the string because I gotta get some sleep in. The question is why? Why are there people? Why are these men constantly telling these single mothers, "You're going to forever be a single mother. Nobody wants you. You need to remain single." Here's why, based off what I'm seeing. The same women that they're talking down on are the same women they backdoor try to sleep with. And they hope this woman does not progress in her life to the point where somebody makes her not only a valuable option, but makes her into a wife. See, the problem is we're trying to keep certain people down so for own personal gains versus actually doing, like we talk about, better in the community. You just trying to get your rocks off at the expense of single mothers. Those dudes get on my nerves. Those dudes have been my biggest problem, and they've been loud these past couple of weeks. So I'm calling them out. It's like, you guys need to relax. I support single motherhood to the point where I want them to no longer be single mothers. I actually want them to be wives under the right circumstance. Of course, there has to be a complete detoxing of what they've been through and what they need to be moving forward.
Well, I mean, KS, that's what he tried to do. That's one of the many things he tried to do. But there have been women out there who would try to do that too, you know. And there's a handful of women who are really, a handful of single mothers out there that are really dope, you know. And when you start asking them questions as to why they're single mother, it all makes sense,
Hmm.
because that, to me personally, a woman with a child is not an instant no for me. But it's like, well, this needs more questions, you know. I need to, get some answers as to why this is, you
Hmm.
know. It's the same thing when dudes talk about body count. Like, body count itself doesn't matter to me, you know. But the
Right.
reasoning why, that's what matters, you know. Why, why'd you sleep with, over 100 dudes, up to date? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? What happened, and believe it or not, sometimes there's some reasonable explanations, you know what I'm saying, for certain things. So, but I just don't think that young men should be messing around with single mothers. I don't think that most of the time, I don't think their intentions are good in the first place. I think their intentions are sex. And I mean, as long as they're two adults, as long as they know what it is, and they use a protection, and they're not around the kids when they're doing it, I don't care, you know. But don't be coming around the kids and taking them to Six Flags and doing all this other stuff, and you just there, you doing all this stuff just so you get some booty. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think they should. This is just working theory of mine, so this is very fluid. Unless that person proposed to you, I don't think nobody should be meeting anybody's kids. That's just me. Until there's a proposal and a wedding, nobody needs to be meeting nobody's children. Now you can explain to the children what's going on and that type of stuff, but nobody meets nobody until there's an actual guaranteed commitment.
Yeah, an engagement. That makes sense. There should be an engagement before the kids start, meeting people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And
Like,
by that time, those adults, all three should have had a lot of, talkings. You know what I'm saying? They should have spoken, make sure they're all on the same page, and just a lot of things that get skipped that should not be skipped. You know what I'm saying? There's a right way to do things and to make sure that things are as smooth as possible. That the transition for the child or children is as smooth as possible. But and I think if people focus on that, that will at least take care of the children part. You know what I mean?
right. No, I 100% agree, and that's all I'm saying. So let the single mothers know it's not a death sentence. You can get married. It's just that there's ways you have to do it. Now, if you guys want to know how to do it, you're gonna have to hit me up. Oh, actually, we'll just do another. Do I want to read? Uh, do I want to circle the block on that marriage series? Not right now, but yeah, ladies, there's a way for you guys to do this, and hit me up. I'll tell you how to do it. Like I said, it's no different than what the single women are doing. It's just that because you have a child, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. That's the reality of life. So don't worry. You have a friend in Christopher J. Uh, I am siding with you, single mothers, because I don't want you to be single mothers forever. I want you to transition to something better. So we're going to get out of here. This was an improv room, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't I think it was gonna be on here for about over an hour, but it is what it is. We about to get out of Calvin.
I happen to be awake, man. I had too much of that Spanish coffee. You know, the one that comes in that yellow brick.
Somebody tell me stay away from Spanish coffee unless you want to be up all damn day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I know a Puerto Rican girl, man. She was like, "This is real coffee, not that current stuff you drinking." I said, "What? Let me give this a shot, man." And I've been buying
Big
it ever
mistake.
since.
Big mistake. Big mistake. I'll take the breakfast blend, although it doesn't really do nothing. I'll take that before I take Spanish coffee. I ain't trying to be up for 24 hours like that. But
Oh, it's Finn coming in at the end.
what?
The
I
almighty Finn.
Making her debut on the BTSI show, ladies and gentlemen. It's this one woman that gets on my nerves on Clubhouse, and she's in this room. This is amazing. This is mind-boggling, ladies and gentlemen. Finn is in the building. Finn, how are you doing?
Why do I get on your nerves?
You be saying some crazy. You are notorious for saying some crazy stuff for the past 2 years that I have been on Clubhouse.
What are you talking about? Why don't people remember me? I'm not that.
Honestly,
You know, Finn be trolling, man. But realistically, man, I wonder how come she ain't got no rings on her finger.
and just to let Finn know, we are simulcast. You are currently on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter right now. Don't
What
worry,
does that
nobody can see
mean?
your face or anything like that.
What does that mean? Oh, I'm being recorded.
Uh, the replays are on.
Not try to using black women for free content.
You see what I mean? That shit right there. You know what,
Again.
Finn? I
Yeah.
have a Finn. Just to
Yeah.
let you know, because we're about to wrap up.
Yes.
My
Yes.
taking on this. I don't know what's been going on for the past couple of weeks. Everybody has been going a little bit too hard on the single mothers in the community. And the people that are going in on them are the ones that are adding to the problem of the community. I am standing with single mothers, siding with them because I don't want them to be single mothers forever. I actually want them to actually find a man that will make them a wife, and they will take full responsibility of that child like it's their own.
Well, what are you doing to help them?
Starters, I am pushing back. I have called between in these last week and a half, maybe I have called out most people on this app and on YouTube. Like, you are not qualified to speak on to talk the way you're talking to single mothers because the message might be right, but something's wrong with the messenger because the messenger is talking shit, but they're also contributing shit to them. So it's like you're turning women into single mothers and you're also talking down on them. How does that make sense?
Are you Haitian?
I am African American.
Oh, you have an accent.
Thank you.
Okay. You know, I mean, you have Cowboy Modern here, and he, he doesn't like people. So, I don't know how that is working with you being an ally if you have little meta iron chair Hitler next to you. I don't.
I'm glad you remember that I don't like people. So it's not just like people think it's a gender thing.
Do you see what I
This
mean?
is people in general that
Do
I
you
don't
see
like.
what I mean?
It's
2 years of
people
this.
or the outside world. I just want to say this because I love how you tried to end this segment with holy water, Christopher. I've never really understood why a lot of these people would be bashing single moms, especially black single moms or black single fathers. I mean, I can't even fathom. I don't have any children of my own as of yet, but I can't even fathom what it's like being a single parent. It sounds so. It sounds stuffy. And I just commend them all day, every day. So if you're being true about your allyship, I have to commend you for that, because it's just quite ghetto, to be frank, when you're making fun of someone's declaration to big up and to raise, hopefully in a healthy way, the next generation. I just hate that.
I'll take that as a win. So I think this is the first time you and I agree on something in 2 years. So I'll take that.
I don't remember you. When did we run today?
Let's just say you troll a lot of people, and I have privately removed you from the stage or kicked you out of a room several times.
I forgive you.
I mean, we were all over in the Bring the Smoke. That's where I met you guys.
Really? We need to get off this app. We've been on this app for that long. That's kind of sad, right?
No. Well, for some people it is.
I think it's kind of sad. I mean, it's 1 o'clock where I'm at. We're on Clubhouse. That's not sad.
Speaking of getting off this app, I'm about to go to bed. So let me go ahead and properly shut this room down. To those on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, now you see what I mean about Finn, but it is what it is. We about to get out of here.
Yeah, Finn's dope when you really talk to her, though.
I believe you. I believe you. Ladies and gentlemen.
Can I get paid for this, or? In here now?
Ladies and gentlemen, on your way out, please remember to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on all social media. Links are located in the description. $ BTS shows the Cash App. Participants waive all rights to privacy. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person will get $100 during the Cash App giveaway. And if I'm in a good mood and Finn doesn't aggravate me, I may give out $100 to maybe 2 or 3 people. We will see when that time comes. So to Cowboy and Finn, thank you guys for coming in and making your contributions. I greatly appreciate it. This has been a topic I've been tackling for about a week and a half now. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the BTS Show. I'm your host, Chris J. Talk to you guys in the morning. Peace out.